Alrighty, good morning everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is Tuesday, September the 9th. Let's see. Okay, everything should be good. Good morning. What's up, everyone? We have a decent amount of things to go over today. We have some red folder news, at least tomorrow, with core PPI. And then we have core CPI later on to the week, along with consumer sentiment. For the overall market, we didn't really do too much yesterday, which was as expected. We'll talk about some of the names that we're looking at coming into today here in a second. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, B Roots, Jeff, Victor, Monty, Nantali. Good morning, Robert, Sinna. Good morning, 50, Joseph, Wayne, Willie, Miss Reggie, Robert. Good morning, True, Captain, Ryan, Audrey, Andreas, Life, Chris, I am, Co. Good morning, Jen, Daniel, Edison, Hugo. Yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Let's hop straight into the charts and what we're looking at coming into today. And then we'll go over some tech names here as well. So first things first, let's go on to the ES chart. So coming into today here for the ES, we just recently, if we go into the daily chart, right, we're just right back at this previous all-time highs pivot point. So coming into today, you can see we have a couple touches in the pre-market here as well. This is the exact level. We have some touches in the pre-market, more touches previously. If we do want to see upside, basically the exact same game plan as yesterday, right? Yesterday we had an inside bar day. So now today, right, we just want to draw out that inside bar. If we want to see continuation, break above your previous day highs, break above your old key pivot level, which is going to be that 6520. And then we could be looking for this continued push back up and towards your all-time high. So that's going to be the game plan coming to market open, is now going to be the break back above your previous day highs and your previous all-time highs for continuation. If we look at the SPY chart, we can actually just get rid of this key level. We can even refine this if you'd like is here as well, but exact same plan. Now it's going to be the break back above your 649.50s along with your previous day highs. If you can get above this level, maintain, then we can see this potential push up in towards your all-time highs, which is going to be this 652. If we want to see some downside, which I'm not really a fan of as of yet, just because we're closer to all-time highs, right? Downside at a minimum for me, I'd like to see it underneath your previous day lows. You could be looking for the fade off of your 650 key cycle level, but in my opinion, the best shorts are only going to be underneath your previous day lows for this continued push back towards the downside. So I'm leaning more towards the upside. We do have numbers coming out tomorrow. So if anything, I do expect the markets to most likely just gravitate higher, maybe before the numbers. But basically, we're going to be looking for the hold above your previous day highs for continuation back towards the upside. If we look at the NQ chart, key levels in this case that we have marked out is this previous 23,800, and now other levels that we could have marked out here as well is just going to be this key pivot high that we created. Let me just drag this over. So for the NQ, other key levels that we have marked out, which number one is your 23,800, and then we also have your 23,900. As you can see, similar thing, this is your previous day highs. We also have an inside bar day here as well, but this one's more bullish. Now this one's essentially creating a flat top. So if we can break above your previous day highs, maintain above that 23,900, we could be looking for a continuation back towards the upside and potentially a move up and towards that all-time highs. So that's what we have for the NQ coming into today. I'm actually a lot more bullish on the QQQ and the NQ compared to the SPY. Because as you can see here, SPY already hit your all-time highs, and you can see NQ is closer to your previous day highs along with your Friday's highs compared to something like SPY where it's closer to the middle of the range. So we're going to be looking for right Qs in specific along with the NQ for continuation back towards the upside. In this case, for the QQQ coming into today, key levels, previous day highs along with your Friday's highs, you can see the higher lows are being built. Potential flat top break here as well. So now it's going to be the break above your 581 for this continued push towards the upside. If you can break above your 581, maintain above your 581, you can see this continue push up and towards that 583 and above. So that's going to be the key for QQQ coming to market open. As for a potential rejection play, right, as I mentioned, right, this could very much well happen, right? Reject off your 581, kind of continue back in towards its previous day's range. Or if it breaks underneath its previous day lows, then potentially we can see some more continuation towards the downside as well. So that's what we have for the QQQ coming into today. As I mentioned, I am leaning a lot more towards the upside just based off of the higher time frames. If you look at this on the 1 hour chart, this one to me looks like it has a move up and towards your all-time highs. So for the QQQ, right, the 1 hour chart, we're building up higher lows here. Now we have a clear level of resistance being your 581, your 581.50s, and then we have a move up and towards your all-time highs, which is going to be that 583. So this one to me, flat top break, we can see a push up and towards your all-time highs in the next few days. I wouldn't be surprised if the Qs, if we do even break your previous day highs today, potential move up and towards your all-time highs, or we might head towards your all-time highs with PPI or CPI. So that's going to be the draw for the next couple of days here on the overall indices, is we're going to be looking for a move higher. Now let's go on to some of the tech names that we have coming into market open. Let's first talk about Tesla. So Tesla, number one, yesterday the key levels that we have marked out is our 355. We already have multiple touches off this level. I wanted to see the break and hold above your 355. Immediately kind of just rejected. You can see these upper wicks. So no real setup on Tesla, and then we just kind of rejected this level and came right back down in towards your previous day lows. So for Tesla, the levels that we're going to have marked out, previous day highs, previous day lows, not too much to talk about here. If you want to see some upside, really maintain above your 346, or now it's going to be that break above your previous day highs, 356 for continuation towards the upside. So that's what we have for Tesla. As for some downside, it's going to be underneath that 346, potential move down in towards that 340. So that's what we have coming into today. Not as bullish anymore on Tesla just based off of yesterday's price action. It's going to have to show me a little bit more with the overall market here as well. As for Apple, still somewhat interested in this one, but after getting back underneath that 239.50, not as bullish. Similar thing here. The key level still is going to be that 239.50. What I'd like to see now is the reclaim back above this level for this continued push higher. So still bullish as long as we maintain above that 235, but now it's going to have to reclaim back above your 239.50 for me to look for positions back towards the upside here on this name. So that's what we have for Apple. For other names here, Google, this one, key level, similar thing here. It's going to be the reclaim. So a lot of these trades, you're going to be looking for the reclaim. I really like the Qs here above your previous day highs for continuation. So for the overall indices themselves, that seems like it's going to be the best looking chart for a push back up and towards your all-time highs. As for Google, it's going to be right the hold of your previous day lows, or now it's going to be the reclaim back above your 236 for this continued push back towards the upside here. As for some other tickers, Amazon, this is AMD. AMD ended up having that opening drive I talked about right down in towards that 149.30s. If you want to see some downside right now, all you can do for AMD is just mark out your previous day highs and previous day lows. If you want to see some upside, it's going to have to break above your previous day highs, hold above that level. If we break underneath that 150 once again and hold underneath, we can see some more downside here on AMD. As for the semiconductors themselves, you can see now they're just kind of consolidating after that big push towards the downside. NVIDIA had a nice bounce yesterday. We traded this back towards the upside, but currently, still just back inside this consolidation level. So for NVIDIA, the key levels that we have marked out is our 169. Along with their 167. If you want to see any sort of pushback towards the upside, currently this is a very key level support. We're going to have to see that hold above your 169 for a pushback up and towards your previous day highs and above. If we ultimately get back underneath key levels, which is underneath your 169, get back underneath your previous day lows, then I'm going to flip back bearish, but currently I am neutral on NVIDIA. Just because of yesterday's price action and higher time frame, key level support. So far, buyers are stepping in. If you want to see a complete change of character here on the higher time frames or a market structure shift, we're going to need that break back above that 172. So that's going to be the key level, at least on the 1 hour time frame. But as you can see, right, lower highs are still being built. So if you want to see some upside, right, break back above your previous day highs, break back above that 172 for a potential move higher. If we ultimately just fail this level, right, stay heavy, then we can see some more downside with AMD here as well. So that's what we have for NVIDIA. As for Meta, key levels that we have marked out is our 758. You can see kind of multiple touches here. Not really much to talk about in this case. It's going to be the reclaim back above your 758 for a continuation back towards the upside. If we reject off this level, we can see a push right back down in towards your previous day lows. And then for some other tickers, Amazon, I do like Amazon here as well. So if you go on to the 1 hour time frame, we're now kind of basing above your high that we created here on Friday. So we have your high that we created here on Friday. We still have this earnings key level here as well. So for Amazon, now you can see we're building up higher lows here on the overall markets. Nice push up yesterday. Now what I like to see is really the base above your previous day high. So the levels I'm going to have marked out, let me kind of just readjust this. Levels we can have marked out on Amazon is going to be your pivot level, which is your 235. So your 235 here, if we can base above this level here on Amazon, we can look for continuation back up and towards your previous day highs and potentially above, just using this level of resistance turning into support here, which is that 235.50 key level. Then for a couple other tickers, Microsoft, kind of at the low of the range, you can see a mean reversion here. And then for Netflix, this one still has to reclaim back above that 1250. So coming into market open, if you go into the higher time frames, right, Qs to me is going to be the main watch coming to market open, right? We can see that break above your previous day highs and Friday's highs for push up and towards your all-time highs. If you look at the SPY, right, this one's shaping back up here as well, reclaiming back above your previous all-time highs. So you're going to be leaning more towards the upside here on the overall indices with the SPY and the Qs. And then with that being said, my main top watches with the Qs potential move up and towards your all-time highs is going to be, yeah, really the Qs themselves, right? You can see Tesla kind of drop yesterday, not really showing some strength. So we'll still keep an eye out on Tesla. Apple kind of pulled back here as well. So a lot of these names have pulled back, whereas the Qs overall has basically maintained, right, higher lows, maintained structure. So we're going to be taking a look at the Qs primarily coming into market open. We'll look to see if there's any other tickers here as well. I know there's a lot of, right, hoods up 15%. There's a lot of other names that are holding up the Qs. Right, we had that inclusion with the S&P on hood, right, APP, right, AVGO. A lot of these names are actually just holding up the market currently. We'll take a look at hood in a second as well. So if you guys do have any tickers or any charts you'd like me to go over, I'll go over I'll go over them right now. Yeah, if you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, I'll go over them now. You guys can drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the watch list, for the morning watch list, that's also in the description below. And if you guys haven't joined the wait list for the event coming up as well, that's also in the description below as well. So let's check out the chat. What's up, everyone? Good morning. What's up? Good morning. Do you use IBK or desktop or Trader Workstation? I personally use the Trader Workstation. I'm just used to it. Good morning. What's up? What's up, everyone? Let me check out Lululemon. This one recently had earnings a couple days ago. Dropped towards the downside, but it's actually right back in towards key levels. So if we're looking at Lulu, this is really the key level that we have marked out, 168. You can see some reaction off of this level. Really, the next level is going to be all the way back down in towards that 129. But for Lulu, you can see trying to base here. You can see after earnings, big drop towards the downside. We've just been consolidating in this general area. If you want to see some downside, we either like to see kind of the pop and fade, or now it's going to be underneath that 165 for continuation towards the downside. So that's what we have for Lulu, at least from a technical speaking, where you're just going to kind of mark out your previous day lows along with this Friday's key low here as well. So your 165 is going to be very key moving forward. If you want to see some upside, Potential break back above your previous day highs for a pushback higher, but more likely than not, it's if it came up towards your previous day highs, you could be watching for the pop and fade off of your previous day highs for a pushback towards the downside. Can you just share Cameron's game settings before the live stream? Yes. I just have it. I forget what settings are on. Pre-market prep. Should we wait for tomorrow for news? Yeah, most likely. So tomorrow, let me actually pull this up. So what we have here is major news in the market. So this is the economic calendar for the overall markets. As you can see right here, we have core PPI. That's tomorrow. We have core CPI. That's on Thursday. And then on Friday, we have consumer sentiment. So Monday, Tuesday, no red folder news. So yesterday, price action was decent. We just had an inside bar day. There wasn't really too much opportunity in the overall markets just because of the big move that we had on Friday. And then we also had, so we had that big move on Friday on the overall indices. And then yesterday, we're kind of opening up inside the range. Most likely it was going to be an inside bar day. Coming into today, right, kind of similar to yesterday, but it looks a little bit different now just based off of the higher time frames where higher lows are being built. Right now, if we can break outside of its previous day's range, we can see some continuation. So for the overall market, as I mentioned now, key level previous day highs, which also happens to be your Friday's highs. If we can break above this, potentially use this as retest, we can be looking for a push up and towards your all-time highs, 583. So I'm going to be still a little bit more selective just because we do have news tomorrow, but if you can break or show any sort of strong price action within the first 10 to 15 minutes, then we could be looking for a continuation potentially to that 583 here on the overall indices, specifically the QQQs. NBIS, yeah, we'll take a look at NBIS here. So this one had news yesterday with Microsoft. Nice push towards the upside. We've been talking about NBIS for a while, but this one already higher time frames, had good earnings. And now you can see this one actually is back at your all-time highs, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this one's back at your all-time highs. Reminds me very similar to APP back in the day. So for NBIS, yeah, we're above your all-time highs here now, which is your 87.11. Now that's basically primarily the key level that you're going to have marked out, and then you're going to mark out pre-market levels here as well. So this is kind of the major level that you're going to have marked out, 87 along with your 88. As long as you can maintain above this level, you can expect this continued push back up and towards your after hours highs and above. In this case, you're going to base it off of intraday levels along with your pre-market levels. Most likely, it's just going to have a dip. And then once it reclaims back above your opening print, you can see this push back up and towards your your after hours highs, which is your 109.50s. So that's what you have on NBIS, or even if it could retest your previous all-time highs, that would be fantastic as well. Let's see. Drop a like and sub, click the like button, checks the legend. Let's see, what's the best method to back test Beth? So when you're back testing, you just want to see if the setup works, if you have an edge in it, but primarily you want to be forward testing and seeing it in live sessions. Back testing is good as well, but that's strictly just for the setup as well. For the setup, you can't really see price action develop in real time. You don't understand the other confluences and other things as well. But back testing is just a good to get some chart experience and to see if your setup works. So let's see what else we have here. So hood looks good if we can break all-time highs. So yeah, hood shape up nicely here as well. So hood, we had some news on Friday. We talked about this move potentially happening back up and towards your all-time highs, which is your 118. And you can see a really strong push towards the upside yesterday on hood. Now we're just right at this all-time highs level. So this one had news with the S&P 500 inclusion, opening drive right off the bat, continue push towards the upside. Now we're right at your all-time highs level. Let me actually just readjust this here as well. Let me make sure I have the right levels. So for hood key levels, we can just mark out, kind of mark out these wicks, which is going to be your 117.50. So as you can see here, a couple touches on hood key level. Now this is your all-time highs. If we want to see some continuation, it's going to be the break above your all-time highs for a push towards the upside, right? Even though we know we're bullish, we probably want to be looking for some sort of entry before we gravitate towards your all-time highs. So for hood, I'd much rather look for maybe your opening range break or some sort of intraday setup for a push up in towards your all-time highs instead of kind of this all-time highs retesting itself after this big push yesterday. So those are your two scenarios. We'll keep an eye out on hood coming into today. Other levels that I do have marked out is primarily just going to be your intraday levels, which I'll just mark this out. So we have intraday levels that we can have drawn out, which is now just going to be your 115. So we can drag this, or 115. If we can get that hold of your 115, that would be super solid for a push up and towards your all-time highs. Or as I mentioned, right, opening range break for a push towards your all-time highs here as well. Either way, right, it looks good for a trade up in towards your all-time highs, and then you could be looking for continuation after your all-time highs as well if you can maintain above that 117.50. So hood's going to be one of my main watches just based off of the news that we had. Plus, it does still have more room up and towards that all-time highs key level. As for a few other tickers, Palantir, this one still just consolidating with inside of its range. You can see based off the 1 hour chart, nothing has happened still on Palantir. It's going to have to break above your previous day highs and a couple key levels for a push back up and towards your 164. But yeah, that's going to be the key levels for Palantir. 158 actually. 158 break above. We can see a potential move back up and towards your 160. If we reject off this level, then we're just going to see a push right back down in towards its previous day's range. If we're looking at AVGO, this is a name that we talked about yesterday here as well. Nice kind of hold of that 332, push towards the upside. Now what we have is an inside bar day here as well. So for AVGO, what I'd like to see for some push, for a push higher is the break above your previous day highs for a potential push up and towards your all-time highs, which is going to be that 356.40. So that's what we have marked out on AVGO. You could also be looking similar thing as hood, right? Opening range break for a push up and towards your previous day highs and your 356 here as well. And then for SoFi, this one holding above key levels very nicely. What I'm waiting for now is going to be the break above your 2640. If you can break above your 2640, we can see this push up and towards your 27 and potentially that all-time highs, which is going to be that 2824. All right, let me see this. As for gold, this one's still in a very clear trend. The key levels that we have marked out on this one, if we go back onto the lower time frames, right, down close candles, every single down close candle is just marked out. So you can see key levels, right, nice break, retest, hold, continuation towards the upside. Another one where we just kind of pushed higher. Key levels that we can have marked out. You can mark out this kind of down close candle here, respected. Now we can just go into the 1 hour chart. So for this ticker, if you see every single down close candle, right, this is a 1 hour down close candle. If you mark out this level, it's a pretty big level, but you can see higher lows, right? Markets are respecting these down close candles. We can see this continue push towards the upside. Gold has definitely slowed down, but higher time frames still very much intact. What we'd like to see is one of two things, right? Either the hold of this down close candle, push towards the upside, or if it breaks, right, we like to see this double bottom hold at your 36.29 for this continued push towards the upside. So that's what we have for gold. Either way, if you're looking at this on the daily chart, you can see ever since having this nice breakout, every single down close candle has been respected and we've been a very clear trend higher. So you're just going to be looking for major dips to go long towards the upside. All right, let me go back onto this chart here as well. Let's see. So if I went over that one, UNH. Yeah, UNH had some nice, it seems like it had some news here in the pre-market as well, but you can see nice pop. Now we're back inside this gap. So what we have here on UNH is we have this gap that we end up gapping down. And now you can see what we're going to have marked out is our 339. And then we can also mark out the body here as well if we'd like, which will be our essentially our 333. So if we go back onto the 15-minute time frame here, you can see nice kind of hold of your pivot level, which is at 316, and we end up having this nice hold, right? News over the overnight And in the pre-market here, now the key levels that we're going to have marked out is at 333. So if you want to see some upside coming to market open, it's going to be that break above your 333 hold for a potential push up and towards your pre-market highs in this 339. Hello from Dubai. What's up? Bro, you're the best back in the game. Nice. Let me scroll down here as well. Okay, there's a decent amount of things that you guys put down. Let me see. Hood went over that one. Let me go over a couple other ones. Let me scroll down here. Yeah, for CRWV, key levels that we have in this case is really this 100 key psych. We're finding a bottom here, but this is really going to be your major inflection point. 102, if we can reclaim, we can see a nice pushback towards the upside. Previous support turn into resistance. If we can now get back above that 102 hold, we can see this nice continued trade back towards the upside. Currently, we're just kind of stuck inside of this range. So as I mentioned, right, break above your 102 hold for this pushback higher. Hey, Jack, thanks for your answers. You mentioned yesterday that you learned a lot how to set up. Oh, that's Verillo Trading. If you search up Verillo Trading or just IBKR on YouTube, he's going to be like the top guy. You can just search up IBKR and he should be like the first guy that pops up. As for TSM, this one's back at all-time highs. Key level, as you can see, end up holding this nice previous level of resistance, turn into support. Now we're back at your all-time highs level. So what we like to see here for TSM is going to be the break above continuation towards the upside. So that's what we have marked out here for TSM. We end up having a nice push after coming all the way back down and towards that 224. So now as you can see here, this is your previous all-time highs, right? Break above, hold for continuation towards the upside. So that's what we have for TSM. How many monitors do I use? I personally use four actually. Let me scroll down here. Do you enter a trade on trading views? No, I do it on TWS. CRWV went over that one. Let me scroll down here as well. Okay. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Okay. I'm going to go over a few more tickers and then I'm going to go over my game plan once more and then I'll get ready for market open here. So I went over most of these tickers already. I think I skipped over a few, but let me go over a couple more. Let me go over IWM. Let me answer some questions here as well. Things I mentioned before, but what are the three lines I see in some of your videos? VWAP, they're just moving averages. So it's the exponential moving averages, the 9 and 21. I think I'll have I think I might make a video soon on just using my strategy. I used to use EMAs all the time when I first started trading, just to use them as confluences. They're really good confluences as well, especially the VWAP and 9 EMA, specifically for momentum trading. I don't use them as often anymore, but I'll still have them on my chart just primarily just for some confluences, but it's not one of the main confluences I use anymore. As for IWM, the key levels that I have marked out is going to be your all-time highs. So on this ticker, sorry, I have a lot of charts. Let me just kind of remove a bunch of levels here. So for IWM, really the key level I have marked out is going to be this 239 along with your all-time highs 242. So this one's shaping up fairly nicely here. Key levels that I like to see hold is this 235. If we can now break above this 239, we can see this continued push higher. So you can see higher lows are being built. If we can now break above this 239, we can see this continuation up and towards your all-time highs here. So this one looks good. Higher lows are being built. This level is being used as support. And now we can expect this to continue higher with the rest of the market as well. Is there no need to backtest? No, there is a need. But once the best way to backtest is done in real time as well, right? Once you gain that real market experience. So you can backtest the setup. Right, backtesting a strategy is good as well, but primarily backtesting your overall setup that you use in the actual you can go out and backtest with certain criteria, and then you can also do it in real time as well. Essentially, forward testing. Apple announcement today. Is it? Yeah, there's something coming up here on Apple. We have the iPhone launch as well, which is coming soon. We should have an announcement coming soon on this ticker. It makes so much sense when you're talking than when I'm my own gibberish. Yeah, once you get used to it, like once you come to the pre-market preps for a month or two, you should be able to right draw levels on your own, right create your thesis on your own as well, and that's what it's for, primarily for confluences. Um, okay, went over that. I'll go over Uber and then I will go over my game plan once more. So for Uber, yeah, this one's shaping up nicely here as well. If we go back onto the daily chart, higher lows are being built, a lot more consolidation, but this one, at least on the higher time frames, looks like it's pushing for a push. Holding up for a push back up and towards your all-time highs. Higher lows, you like to see the break back above your all-time highs for a continuation higher. Okay. Let me go over my game plan and then I will get ready for market open here. So coming into today here for the overall indices, the exact same thing is going to apply. I actually just might readjust. Yeah, I'll probably readjust this level here on SPY. So key levels I have marked out, I'm just going to kind of readjust this so it lines up here with the ES chart that I have, which is basically just your high they created from Thursday from the 28th. And plus you can see kind of this pre-market level here as well. So for the SPY key levels coming to market open, previous day highs, also your key level from last Friday here as well. So for SPY, it's going to be the break above your previous day highs. If we can hold above this level, we can see this continuation back towards the upside. If we reject off this level, we're just going to come right back in between yesterday's range, and this is something I don't really want to trade. I'm only going to be looking for opportunity above your previous day highs for a potential move up and towards your all-time highs. If we reject, then I'm probably going to be a lot more patient and conservative and just wait for tomorrow for the numbers to come out. For the QQQ, similar thing here. Key level that I have marked out, 580. If we can break above your 580, hold above your 580, I'll be looking for continuation up and towards that 583. If we reject off this level, then and we come right back down, this could be an opportunity, but I'm not as interested, right? Probably going to be hands off if it rejects off this level and comes right back towards the downside. So I'll be looking for the hold above your previous day highs along with your Friday's highs. As for my main watches today, it's actually going to be primarily the Qs in itself, but for some other watches I'm keeping an eye out on, Tesla still looks good to me on the 1 hour chart. Not as appealing unless we can break above this 355, but somewhat interested. Key level is going to be this 346. If we want to see some upside in this case, it's going to have to be the hold of that 346 for a potential kind of bounce back in between yesterday's range. So more likely than not, Tesla going to be a little bit more patient on this one coming to market open. If we show some weakness, potential opportunity underneath your 346 actually for a push down in towards that 340. So neutral on Tesla, open to playing it on both sides. As for Apple, this one, there's a couple news events coming up here as well. Higher time frame still looks good. What I'll have marked out is that 239. So I'll be waiting for the reclaim above your 239 for continuation up and towards that 240. As for a few other tickers that I'm interested in, Google, similar thing here like Apple, I'll be interested in the reclaim back above that 236. As for a few other tickers, semiconductors, I'm more hands-off on semis coming to market open. I just kind of want to see the reaction that we have off of your previous day highs and previous day lows. So semi is going to be a little bit more patient today. And then Amazon, I do look Amazon. So Amazon actually looks like one of the better looking tickers here in the overall market. A nice push yesterday. We're basing above your last Friday's highs. So if we can maintain above this 236, we can see this push up and towards your previous day highs and above. So that's what we have for Amazon. And yeah, that's primarily it. So those are the names that we have coming to market open. We have those names that I just talked about, primarily the overall indices themselves. What I am looking for, I do like AVGO as well, along with Hood, a couple of these other growth names, right, for a push up and towards your all-time high. So for AVGO, I'd like to see kind of this base push up and towards your previous day highs and your all-time highs. For Hood, this is probably going to be one of my main watches coming to market open. What I'd like to see now, we have your all-time highs marked out here. And we have a key level support, and we're also going to be using intraday price action. So if we can consolidate, right, opening range break is in play for a push up and towards your all-time high. So we'll keep an eye out on Hood. Just because of your all-time highs play plus news that we had last week. And then, yeah, that's it. That's about it. SoFi looks good if we can get above that 2640. And then let's see what APP is doing. So APP, this one looks good here as well. Key levels that we could have marked out is just going to be your previous day lows, previous day highs. what I like to see on this ticker, maintain above your 536 for this continued push back up and towards your 555. So basically similar game plan to yesterday. I'll be a little bit more cautious just because we do have major numbers coming out the rest of the week with core CPI, core PPI, and consumer sentiment. So unless we can show some strong price action right off the bat, I'll be a little bit more hands off and just be more cautious and wait for tomorrow, because that's when the volatility is going to pick up into the rest of the week here as well. Someone mentioned, yeah, a small Tesla pop, just kind of popping back up towards this 349. So nothing's really changed. So that is going to be it for me today. I see some questions here. Opening range can be used for NASDAQ and indices. Yes, gold already went over that. Could you do a video on best confluences? Yeah, I'll make a video on that one as well. Do you recommend paid for? And I personally wouldn't. I haven't used any of those ones, so I can't give you a good opinion on that. But primarily, right, you want to be focused on price action and what actually matters. Some indicators are good, as long as if buy and sell indicators, I would not recommend. Right, if they're drawing level indicators or you have other indicators for confluences, right, you can use that in combination with your strategy. But if it's just a standalone, that's a buy and sell. I wouldn't trust that. Let's drop a leg. Let's see what time frames are you using, drawing at key levels. I'll use the 15-minute and the 1 hour and draw from the bodies into the wicks. All right. Yeah, that is going to be it for me today. I'm going to get ready for market open here now. Appreciate if you guys drop me a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the watch list, that is in the description below. And if you guys haven't joined the wait list for the event coming up as well, that one's also below as well. All right. Take care, everyone. And I will see you guys all tomorrow morning. All right. Peace.